about the world other than what the parents tell them. And the parents tell the children what they have learned from their parents. And that is how it goes. When those days when there was lightning and thunder, they were frightened. And they thought these things were happening due to either some god or devil or whoever is doing these things. So they thought there are some mysterious forces in the world that begin to control the world. So when they are in difficulty, what they did was they made sacrifices to these mysterious gods and the devils, and that is how these even things called religion came into being. Now the important thing is, at that stage, there were two things that came up. The first thing was what is today called magic. Magic means the human being tried to control these forces that govern the world by chanting certain things or reciting certain things and doing certain things. These are the rituals and the what is called the incantations. These are the things that people recite. And they also had beliefs that they are all coming from the parents. Now, when the children try to climb a tree, they are frightened that the children might fall. So they tell, don't climb trees. Or if a child plays near a ladder that has been kept somewhere, sometimes when the children are running about and playing, the ladder can fall on them and maybe something happens to the child as a result. So the parents teach the children never go near ladders or don't go under a ladder. Now that sort of thing is believed, and it is believed even later when the child becomes an adult. Those beliefs continue, which is coming from generation to generation. These are the things called superstitions. Superstitions are simply beliefs like that, learned in childhood. But as people began to evolve, the thinking and intelligence began to evolve. Now the animals are mainly controlled by emotions. But what is special about the human being is the ability to think and reason out. And in ancient times, the human being's ability was not so advanced as today, mainly due to education. And today all children are sent to school and they are educated and they are taught how to think and reason out. So gradually today the modern people are more intelligent than the ancient people. So at a certain stage in the history of Western philosophy, Western thinking or Western history, somewhere in the 16th and 17th centuries. That age was called the age of enlightenment. That was the time when science began. Earlier people began to think and reason out, but because people were believing in the Bible and religious books with the religious dogmas, sometimes these people who began to think and reason out were killed. Like Socrates had to drink poison, and there were other people also who were killed. But during the 16th and 17th centuries, this effort to think and reason out became more powerful. And so, during this time, there was one very important fact that the scientists began to discover. And that fact was that everything happened in the world due to the presence of the necessary conditions. Whatever happened in the world happened due to the presence of the necessary conditions. That means there are no gods and devils controlling the world. In India, long before the Westerners came to know about this, more than 2000 years before that, the Buddha came up with this same fact. And today it is called Paticca Samuppada. And there, in short, the Buddha says, Hetum Paticca Sambhutam Hetu Bhanga Nirujjati. When the conditions are there, it comes into being. When the conditions are absent, it ceases to be. Like a fire, if you want a fire, you have to provide the conditions necessary for the flame to come up. Today, of course, there is a matchstick, you just strike the match and it comes, flame comes up. But in ancient times, there were no matches like that. So they had to use other methods. So one method was to rub two sticks together for a long time till it begins to burn. But today, people who made the matchstick did a wonderful thing. But now, of course, even without the matchstick, you press a button and the fire comes up because you have electricity. And discovering electricity was also a difficult thing. And making all the modern conveniences, this was all based on this one principle that whatever happens, happens due to the presence of the necessary condition. So what you have to do is to discover these necessary conditions and then you can produce anything. And that is how people had this air conditioning, even fans, even electric lights, even the clocks, so many things, and even building houses. All that is due to this basic principle. And with the coming of this knowledge, all those superstitions, beliefs in gods and devils disappear. But still in the modern world, it has not completely disappeared. There are still people who are believing in the